Well, it's got to be dry now. I know I promised the garage would be on fire. We'd have a workshop disaster. But, well, I don't always deliver. Well, the drum is dry on the outside. I can see down in the seam there, there's a little bit of water. I don't know if you can see it glistening in there or not, but I can. So here's a little trick. I want to make sure it's absolutely dry. This is alcohol, denatured alcohol. You could use any kind of alcohol, really. And alcohol is hygroscopic. I believe I'm saying that correctly. And that means that it absorbs water. It's probably not a terrible idea to put a little bit of alcohol in a solvent tank. I don't know. I might have to read about that. But alcohol, if you leave a container of alcohol open, it dries the air that comes into contact with the alcohol surface. And the container slowly begins to have more and more alcohol in it. Model airplane fuel, glow fuel, is made with alcohol, and you have to protect the container from the air as much as possible. You always want to leave it capped, because once the container collects a couple drops of water, the engine won't idle properly anymore. So I'm going to go dump this alcohol out on the driveway. Nope, no harm, no foul. It'll evaporate, and then I believe we'll see the inside dry out. We'll get rid of any residual water. By the way, water's heavier than solvent, so any water that I would leave in here would stay on the bottom and continue this little bit of rust we got going on. Here we are, Tractor Supply, the secret sauce. PSC 1000. Hopefully this will be enough. Somehow that looks smaller than 5 gallons. Nope, 5 gallons right there. Looking at casters, this is about the smallest thing I would consider. These are 2 inches. This would roll over a cord or something in the workshop. Really, I'd like to have a 3-inch caster. These are $11 a piece. Non-swiveling's $9 a piece. Here's 3-inch. This would be a lot better. $15 a piece. You could spend $60 in a hurry. I'm going to have to give the drum dolly some thought. Here they have furniture moving dollies. Could incorporate one of those. They had one on sale, a little square one on the other side of the store for $10, which it might be worth buying just to get the dollies, just to get the casters. I don't know how much these are. Doesn't seem to be a sticker. I'd like to build something that lets the drum be just an inch off the floor. I don't want to raise it up higher. It'll make it harder to work on. We're thinking. Here's the ones for $10. I think that's a 2.5-inch caster. Might be worth buying this just to get the casters. We'll see. Some of you may remember this place on my floor had 2 mini bikes, a great big plastic Black & Decker toolkit box, a grinder, a new box grinder I haven't opened up yet, a bunch of other stuff. Got that upstairs in the attic, got that organized today. Now I have room for my parts cleaner. Let's go get it. Sure is an awkward thing. look at the bottom of this. Well, I think it'll pass. I think it'll pass. Has some notches over here, some breaks in the metal. Still got to clean this nasty mess up. Wow. Yeah, I think I'll wipe this down with solvents. Just do this in the shop. There we go. Turn it around like so. Got the thumb screw here. Here it is. I'm going to get this thing wiped out before I pour my new fluid in. It really does fit in my shop. It does. It does. Okay, about 20 paper towels and a little bit of alcohol there. Got everything wiped down. It's clean. I can rub against this thing and not get grease on my clothes. I've never used one of these things that was this clean before. It seems kind of nutty. Here's a little catch basin. It needs a little, I think it needs a new cover. Maybe I'll see if I can buy a new one, but you know, catches nuts and washers and ball bearings and things you might drop down. Parts cleaning brush. And I'm going to put this brush has got, the hose wants to fall off of it over here. I'm going to do multiple wraps of a small zip tie here. If I need a direct stream, I'll pull this off here and get it that way. It may seem nutty to do all this cleaning. Just to put greasy parts in here. But heck, it'll be starting out nice and I won't be fouling up my fluid initially with a dirty container. So there we go. So here is the, did a lot of reading online. This PSC 1000 from Tractor Supply. This sells for 39 and change, let's call it $40 for 5 gallons. So that's $8 a gallon. It's a couple dollars more a gallon than what I could make my own fluid out of, but this is professionally made. It's not so hard on the hands, according to what people on the skin, according to people that I've read about. It's got a known flash point, 141 degrees Fahrenheit, and what the flash point means is if it's hit with a spark or a flame, if it's not above 141 degrees, it's probably not going to ignite. So it's not easily burnt. Now, of course, if I pour this in a fire, you know, it would burn. But it's not going to easily ignite in the shop here. And that's an important feature. It's not going to have fumes or anything that are easy to ignite. Now, one of the important features of solvents, and you'll see a lot of discussion online if you read about it, is whether or not the solvent stinks. This shop is connected to my home, so I don't want my wife complaining. And I don't want to smell it either. I don't want to walk through my garage and have it smell like hell. So I've been told that this will smell for a couple of days, and then it goes away. So that's acceptable. It comes in a metal can. I'm going to keep the metal can. This will be great for me to pump the fluid into when it's time to dispose of it. It's kind of cool. A lot of things come in plastic buckets, which just, maybe this would dissolve the plastic bucket over time. I don't know. The pickup pump on this does not go to the bottom of the barrel. Now, what I had done before is my dad had given me some solvent that he had, and it didn't quite come up to the pickup in this thing, and so I took gallon containers of antifreeze and just filled them with water and capped them off and set them down in the solution, and that rose the level of the solution until this would pick it up. And I used it that way for a while, and once in a while, I don't know if it was from evaporation or what, but the fluid would get below the pickup. And so I would add another container of water or something like that in there. Well, it got to the point where I had a couple, when I picked this up at my other property, I think there was 4 or 5 1-gallon antifreeze jugs full of water sitting down in it, which hadn't broken, by the way. And there were 2 gallons of windshield washer solvent that are still blue. Now, I don't think, I worry about if any solvent passes through the plastics. It still looks good. I suppose I'll smell it and see if it smells like solvent. Maybe I'll use it in my car. I don't know. That might be just pushing things a little bit far. And for some reason, it must have gotten low again. And so I found a 1 or 2 ton bottle jack down in the solution, and the handle. So I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, maybe I thought I would raise the solution another 1/4 inch and allow me to use the parts cleaner, and I would remember it was in there and take it out. Well, I didn't. It's been in there forever. I hope the bottle jack still works. It's sitting over there in my storage area. I'm going to have to. I'll have to bring it back on my next trip. Test it out. Sometimes these solvents will damage rubber seals, so it could be that the bottle jack will be leaking. And it was quite comical when I lifted it up out of there. It's like, oh, there's one more thing in here. That's a bottle jack. Holy cow. So I don't have anything in this container at all right now. I bought 2 of these, so I've got about, with tax, like $85 in this stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to put things in there to float it up again, or if I'm just going to go ahead and fill it. My fluid will get dirtier faster if I use less of the fluid, but it'll have to be changed more frequently. And more frequently might mean every 3 years instead of every 8 years. I don't know. So one solution that people do is they put a trash bag in the barrel. Maybe that's what I should do. But they'll pour the solvent in, and then they pour water in until the solvent is up to the bottom of the pickup. The water's heavier than the solvent. You have to have a liner in this where the water will rust the barrel. Now how they, it doesn't end up with some kind of perforation in the water getting through it anyways at some point, I don't know. But nonetheless, that's what some people do. And then they don't have to use as much solvent. And I guess there can be an effect where the dirt will flow down through the solvent and sink in the water. And then when the pump's running, because there's a water-solvent separation, there's a layer, like a thermocline in a lake or something, but only this is 2 different weights of chemicals that don't mix. It doesn't remix the dirt in the solvent. Whereas if I was cleaning a bunch of rusty parts, rust is heavy and it will sink to the bottom. But if it was all solvent, just the action of the pump running and the fluid dripping in might mix it up and cause the whole solution to be rusty while I'm using it. I'm not really doing work like that. And I think I'm okay with, if I decide to not open the second container, just putting gallon bottles of water down in there to raise the level. So here we go. Let's put this one in. And I know that lifts up out of there, but I don't think I need to do that. Let's see what color it is. Oh, it's very clear. Might have a slight purple or blue tinge to it. As you can see, that's a little bit purple. That's a very slight odor. Now, another quality of the solvent that's important is whether parts will flash rust. And what that means is you clean a metal part, and then just from moisture in the air, you get a thin film of rust on the surface of the part, steel and iron parts. And this is a quality you'll see people talking about in solvents. Obviously, water-based stuff, you have to oil it immediately, so people will put PB Blast or WD, something like that, on it immediately after they clean it. My understanding is this provides a little bit of an oil protection to the part, and it won't flash rust immediately, but if you leave it for a long period of time, you will eventually get some rust on the part. So I think that's kind of a good quality. It's a little bit of protection. You know, I can clean a part and come back to it in a few days, and it should still be fine. I read where some people, when they refill their tank, not specifically with this solution, but with other solutions like Stoddard or mineral oil or diesel, maybe not diesel, but Stoddard or mineral oil, that they will add a quart of automatic transmission fluid to improve its protection against flash rusting. And if that turns out to be a problem here, then that's probably how I'll solve it. So let's, I don't have it plugged in yet. Let me get it plugged in. A word about resistance and connectors. Let me switch over here. That's a little better light. I noticed this plug is a little bit pretty dull. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. Now, a lot of fires are caused, this is a pretty low current device, but still it's just good workmanship to clean stuff like this up. A lot of fires are caused by high resistance connections. These could be loose wire nuts, corroded wires where wires gotten down in a wall or into a junction box or into an outlet. And so a poor connection with high resistance will make a lot of heat, especially if high current is flowing. The wire that's in an electric heater is called resistance wire for a reason. It's high resistance. The electricity has to work really hard to get through the wire, and that's really kind of a goofy way of saying it, but that's what causes the wire to glow red hot. And if that happens in your walls or in your outlets, it's a big problem. About high speed. Look, there's green on there. Nasty. This is kind of an awkward way to do this. I'm not sure I recommend it. Probably I should just grab some emery cloth. Doing the job though. In the spirit of recycling, here's a piece of sandpaper that I had in the parts washer. This is probably 220 or 400, and this is it's a good thing to keep a piece of sandpaper in a parts washer. It's a good way to polish off debris, gasket junk. I think that'll do it. So let's see. What do we got? Well, that would be a fail. I hear the pump running, but there's no fluid. Let me put the other container in. I could get more of the fluid out of here if I pulled that up. There we go. Well, $85 sounds like a lot of money to fill a parts washer, but remember, I'm going to enjoy the use of this tool for years. Now, if it doesn't bring it up to the level of the pickup with this 5 gallons, I'm not buying another 5 gallons. I'll put some jugs of water down in it and raise the level. We'll get it working that way. I think if you own a repair garage, when safety-kleen comes around and changes your parts tank, I think it's about 175 bucks. Remember, I told you that units like this sell for at least 400 bucks online. Well, this probably some shop paid for as part of their safety-kleen program. You know, knowing those people, hell, it could have been a $1,100-$1,200 parts cleaner at rental rates, or pay-as-you-go, or pay-on-time rates. A lot of equipment is sold to auto repair shops that way. Premium price, but they don't have to pay for it all at once. It's kind of a rent-to-own agreement. All right, so here we go. Try again. Oh, nothing. Okay. Wow, so this is going to take a lot of fluid. Oh wow, I can see. Maybe I can bring this around here. Grab a flashlight. So we can see down in there and see the pump, and that round knob you see there, I guess, is the intake. And it looks like it was going to take another 5 gallons to get it up to that level. Well, I'm not going to put another $40 worth of solution in this. I'm going to get some jugs full of water and drop them down in there and raise the level up that way. Wow. After I use this a few times, I'll no longer be able to see the bottom of it, so it's like a new baby. Okay, I don't have any empty jugs, plastic jugs, but I do have 2 empty 5-gallon solvent containers. Now I'll have to replace this because it'll eventually rust out from the inside. So I'm going to save washer solvent bottles and the like, and then I'll change it out. And I filled that up with hot water. And what that means is I'll always have heated fluid now. That'll feel good on my hands, right? Who would put cold water in one of these things? There we go. Yeah, I know the thumb screw is an extra step, isn't it? Uh-oh. That's very disturbing. I don't know if I spilled that. Moving it around. Or if I have a leak. Wow, that would really suck. I have a solvent leak here. What is going on? This is what I'm seeing. Wow. Wow, I'm not going to have a parts cleaner today, am I? I gotta decide what I'm going to do with that. Wow, am I going to get a new barrel? Maybe I'll put a liner in the barrel. Well, I got my work cut out for me tonight. I have to siphon all that, siphon all the solvent out of here. The pump doesn't go to the bottom, so I can't pump it out. I wonder if I had some rust damage there that wasn't leaking, but since I've been handling and moving the barrel, it is leaking now. I mean, there's no way I could have spilled that much solution. Man, that sucks. Let's see if I've got it running down the front of the barrel. I don't. Wow. Look, it's running out under here. It's been leaking since I've been messing with this, and I just now am seeing it. Here she comes. Bummer. Well, I'll solve this problem. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to use the pump to withdraw from there everything that it will bring out. Well, that's weird, man. There's like a fog coming up out of there. Isn't that hot? Let's see if my pump works. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Bet it's leaking. Let's get this a little more direct to the point. Wow, I wish I hadn't put water in that other jug now. Well, I'll have to solve that problem too. I shall return. Alright, I might have fooled myself. It's not running out anymore. I found over here, on this side, I found some runs down the front of this where I had had the top dislodged. And maybe it had run down here and ran around the rim and off the rim there and kind of wicked around the bottom lip of the drum. I'm going to take a break for 20 minutes, half an hour, and come out and see if I've got fluid creeping across the floor again. Since I've wiped up everything that was there, it doesn't seem to be running anymore. So we'll see. Well, gosh, I'm still not sure. Is that just more draining from around the seam at the bottom, or is that a real legitimate leak? Very confusing. I wish it was more clear. I'm around on the back side now. I can just see that moving across the cement. I think it's clear I've got a leak. Apparently Napa has, for 10 bucks, drum liners for these. So I think tomorrow I'm going to try to find one of those. Meanwhile, tonight I'm going to get all the fluid out of it.